So as you get deeper into practice and approach the start of the season, how do you feel things are coming along with this group in terms of adapting to your style and system and what you're trying to convey?
I think it's right now it's more along the lines of the habits that we need to be successful at the style play that we play. There's habits that are good for different styles, and for us right now we're still building some of those habits. And, we say we get over a long period of time, all of a sudden we're still building some of those, and because of that we don't schematically have a complete understanding of what we're doing completely, because we're still building habits that take place, and then hopefully we'll have a PhD in the system. So it's been, you guys have done a great job, but it's not going to be overnight. I mean, it's going to be a process.
Does it help in some sense to have not a lot of returning players? Maybe that's not in terms of being a first-year head coach who's kind of changing the system that was here for a while.
It's like they're all new, in
Okay.
terms of this, because it's so different. So with that comes challenges, and certainly, sure the guys wish we were farther along probably than where we are right now, but I've also got the advantage of experience. I know what it looks like, and we're getting there. But specifically to the new guys versus guys that have been here, I think like anything else, when you got an older group that has built habits in a certain way, and then we're doing something a little bit different, there's a challenge to that, and I think that we're both working on that together.
How different is your planning and say an exhibition like is coming up versus a scrimmage against another high major team or another Division I team? Do you do things differently, or are you trying to get the same thing out of each?
We'll put in a scouting report for this game, so the guys understand what a scouting report's like with our coaching staff. So that'll be something that's we'll put in actually tomorrow. We typically do it 2 days before, so that we're in the process of doing that right now. So that's the biggest probably difference. And then obviously you got a crowd of referees out there, so it'll be an adjustment for our guys.
Is that important to you to get them in front of a crowd, get them in a situation?
Yeah, I've always been one-on-one, and obviously there's advantages and you get a lot out of both. And we certainly need to get out and play in front of people.
Will you talk at all about Saturday?
But yeah, we got practice this coming Saturday.
Last Saturday? No. What, you talked about it'll take a while for them to kind of get up to speed and everything. You've talked about you feel like your ability to make adjustments as the season goes on. How much will you need to see before you feel like you can start doing those?
Yeah, those are made throughout the season. Obviously putting guys in different positions and different scenarios during the course of the game, and learning this team and what they're good at, and what individuals and where to put them in certain spots. So that's ever evolving.
There might be a different situation, but I guess you've been a new coach at places before. How long does it take at a new spot before playing against real competition?
Yeah, I don't know how long it takes. I know we got a really challenging schedule. I think it's a little bit different because you got a core group of guys that have done it a certain way for so long. So I think it'll take a little bit of time.
How much will you rely on not just the returning guys, but you've got the 3 grad transfers who have a ton of experience. How much do you rely on those guys to help the?
Well, you got guys who know how to win. The returning guys know how to win. They've experienced it in a ton of different ways, and there's a ton of value in that. And there's one guy in our program that understands the terminology, and that's Chris Vogt. So he needs to be a little bit more vocal in terms of helping guys understand the terminologies and whatnot. As far as the other guys, they've played at a pretty high level, and they've gone against competition. They know what it feels like. So there's a lot of value in being older, and you see it. Hopefully we'll see it more in the games, obviously, but you see it in bits and parts of practices as we continue to implement our stuff.
How much of the non-conference schedule was in place whenever you got here?
Pretty much everything but our bye games. So I guess it would have been, I want to get this right, Vermont, Drake, Colgate. You got anybody else?
Alabama,
Alabama was already in, wasn't it?
Alabama was already in.
Tournament was already in.
Tournament was
So
already in.
just those 3, I think.
So you were pretty much locked in. Do you like the way the non-conference is?
Whew, I'll tell you when it's done. I think it's as challenging a non-conference schedule there is in the country. I think people start evaluating schedules. So it was intentional. The bye games were intentional. It was a really challenging schedule when we got here. And when I say buy games, the guarantee games, it's a one-off, so it's a singular game with no return, are extremely challenging. And, I mean, Vermont's a top 25. I think they'll be in top 25 at some point this year. Colgate won their league, almost beat North Carolina in the tournament, and Drake won the Missouri Valley, which is a team that sent the team to the Final Four. So it'd be pretty challenging.
What's Jaron's level? I know he's been kind of working his way back to 100% practice. Where's he at?
He's getting in shape, getting where he needs to be. Still needs to, take the next step in terms of some cardio and whatnot. And, so he's been practicing pretty regularly now for a few weeks.
Other than Jeremiah and Trevor, who we knew about before, health-wise, how's everything else looking?
Good. Actually, both those guys practiced yesterday. So it was nice to have full bodies out there. It's like Lazarus, man. When we get close to the game, everybody's
Feeling a lot
coming
better.
back to life here. So.
Are they still on the same projection as you had before?
Yeah, I don't have a projection. It's more the medical staff that has that. They just tell me who gets to practice.
What do you feel like's left? What's the biggest thing before? I know the exhibition, but before next Wednesday, what do you feel like is the main thing you want to make sure you get across or get in?
We'll take what we can. The focus of these 3 days has been to extract what we need to from Saturday scrimmage, and then we'll prep for the Thomas More game, and then we'll extract what we need to from there, and then we'll go into Ohio State prep, which is always a challenge because you really don't have any film. So that's kind of where it's at. It's more a long prep now. I mean, we still got to put in stuff. I got one side out of bound in. We have our late game stuff in. I mean, there's just things we have to get to when you're putting in an entirely new system.
Do you have to spend time with so many new guys, like explaining the stupid stuff like pregame, where you come out and all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, they got to explain it to me or do it to them. No, we got to go over a pregame. I mean, you got to do all those things. I mean, the bench decorum, and we have all that stuff in basically because we had a scrimmage the other day. But in regards to the pregame warm-ups and all those things, yeah, those are very detailed, and we have them. We just got to articulate it to our guys.
How would you describe your defensive philosophy? What you like to do?
Aggressive. We're gonna be aggressive in the full court, and then we're gonna shrink it more in the half court and try to get in our gaps and contest and rebound. It'd be nice if we could force teams into the shot clock a little bit, because I think you're better defensive teams control the tempo a little bit defensively about how far they can force a team to go into shot clock by playing solid defense. Very different. I mean, we're not in a ton of passing lanes. So.
Scale of encouraged to distressed Saturday night.
It was great because I had dinner with my family Saturday night. So anytime I have dinner with my family, I feel really good about it. So we went out to dinner. Felt really good.
What'd you have?
I don't remember. It was fun. You're not getting anything out of me.
Apparently.
Coach, on Thursday, I mean, we had the Midnight Madness event, but Thursday will be the first time that you come out as the coach on this court to coach a game in front of fans. Are there any jitters, or is there anything kind of going through your mind before Thursday?
Tell my daughters if you don't have jitters, then you're not ready. There's got to be now if I'm anxious, that's one thing, but if you don't have the jitters or the butterflies, then you ain't ready. So you'll always have that no matter what. If I stop having that, I got to get out. So I'm excited to do it. Excited for our guys. I mean, to play other people is really important. But the people that know me, there's a lot to get done before Thursday.
I know you've got a lot going on, but the NCAA Board of Governors voted today to allow student athletes to be compensated for image, likeness, those kinds of things. Whenever there's an issue like that comes up that's going to be a big change, how do you prepare yourself so you know what's happening? And
Well, I think you try to read up on it the best you can and try to put yourself in position to kind of forecast a little bit. I'm probably less forecasting in that area this year because it's been so driven to get things done in the immediacy. And I saw it on Twitter as I came down, so I didn't get a chance to find out what the dynamics of it are, the parameters, or if they're just what they're putting in. So You know, I have thoughts on it specifically in terms of, I think for the student athlete, the well-being of the student athlete needs to become first and foremost. I tell guys all the time, I make every decision based on what's best for our student athletes, but never over what's best for the program, right? And I jokingly say if I played the two people I love the most, Jaylee and Caitlin would start at the 2 and 3 spot for us. So we need to put our guys in the best position to be successful. And if it's a situation where you're talented enough and your image is creating opportunities for others, then it needs to create opportunities for the student athlete. And how you manage that and how we handle that is for people that are smarter than me. But I know it's got to be handled and managed in the right way, or it can be overwhelming for everybody involved. So I'm excited to see what direction it goes in. You know, I'd like to think that we'll be recruiting in those realms, at some point here, and certainly we've got some guys on our team that I think will matriculate to that if they haven't already.
How upset were you that neither of your daughters picked your number after making the varsity team at Newcastle?
They didn't make
Seventh graders.
varsity, they made the freshman team.
Freshman, okay.
And I don't know if they get to pick their jersey number. It's available, so I hope they do. Thanks, guys.
Thanks.
Thanks, Coach.